Deepesh. In this video, I'm going to take you through one of the key factors behind your performance on Facebook ads and the auctions. So this applies to any ad which sends traffic to a website. So slightly less of relevance for capturing leads on Facebook or trying to retarget people that have viewed a percentage of your video or for app installs. But if you are relying on a website, site performance plays such a huge part in terms of how quickly the page loads and also your bounce rate as well. So I want to take you through some key tips that I've got directly from Facebook on what makes a landing page perform better and the factors that they take into account as well. Number one is to minimize the landing page redirects, the plugins, link shorteners, and to compress large files. So what does that mean? So page redirects are if you send someone to a page and it sends them off to another page, that slightly slows down the experience, and Facebook doesn't like that. And they're also against things like bit.ly links, and that's more so because people are masking links to websites which may be against Facebook's policy, and so Facebook are a bit more stringent on redirected URLs. Things like plugins, so platforms like WordPress, Shopify are prone to having plugins which take too long to load. Sometimes the developers are lazy, they don't optimize their code, and it can slow down the loading of your page. Link shorteners I mentioned. Compressing large files. So for example, if you've got a big image on your landing page or a video, try and get the file size as small as possible so it works super fast on desktop and mobile, on wireless and mobile network. So it gives you the best chance of someone waiting for your page to load and not disappearing. The second one that Facebook recommend is using multi-region hosting to improve server response time. What does that mean? Multi-region hosting is something where you're using a delivery mechanism for your website, and it's slightly more technical, but it uses the local region to deliver content based on what that person is. So this is more of a hosting challenge than something that you'll have control as a marketer or as someone working on different platforms. But speak to either your developer or the person behind your platform if you are getting kind of difficulty on page load time, if that's relevant. The next one is using a high quality content delivery network, CDN, to reach audiences quickly. So the way a content delivery network works is that it takes your content, your creatives, your videos and files and things that would otherwise be hosted on your website, your ClickFunnels, your Shopify, your WordPress website, and it hosts it on a network which is located in multiple locations across the world, and it loads far quicker. So if your company, your website is hosted in a particular country, let's say the US, and you have a visitor from Japan or from Australia, generally to get that data from one side of the world to the other is slower than doing it locally. So in this example, even if you're hosting in the US and someone visits from Australia, they will actually get served the content that's closest to them. So it's a slightly more technical way, but it's a great way of speeding up your page load time. Again, something more from a developer's point of view or someone who's managing your website platform. Remove render blocking JavaScript. So this is another technicality. What it actually means in simple terms is when things load on your page, they will either load in parallel or not in parallel. So if they load in parallel, it means item 1 loads and 2 and 3 and 4 all at the same time. So even if items 1, 2, 3, 4 take 1 second to load, the whole page will still only take 1 second to load because they will load all at the same time. What a render blocking JavaScript does is nothing else will load until that particular piece of code is executed. So if that code takes 3 seconds to load, then your page will at minimum take 3 seconds to load. Even if there's 5, 6 things that run at the same time at 2 seconds, the JavaScript will delay everything. So again, it's a slightly more technical thing to keep into account. But what I would recommend, some of these things are quite technical, but it's all about getting your landing page performance into the best condition it can be, is to use the free tool to just get an idea of how well your page is performing. Google have a tool called the page speed test tool. My preference is this tool from Pingdom, which I will show you now. So in this example, I'm going to paste in my welcome page for my course, and let's say I'm going to test this from California. In fact, let's do New York. So New York is kind of it's in between mainland US and the UK, and I want to get a sense for my site, which is actually hosted in the US with ClickFunnels, and see what kind of page speed performance results I get back. So fingers crossed this doesn't take too long, because sometimes with Pingdom, if there's a long queue, it will make you come back like 30 minutes later. But it has loaded, great. So now if I kind of look at those results, it gives me a performance grade out of 100, and it kind of just gives me that based on Google's rating, which it taps into. Page load time, 4 seconds is actually quite slow for a page to load, but that's the complete page. It's 40% faster than other pages that have been tested. Page size of 6.5 megabytes. That doesn't include any media. So actually that's quite a big page to load up. And the request is how many different files were called in. So the landing page for the course is quite a long form page, but also there are things which the platform itself with ClickFunnels, there is room to optimize better as well. So if you scroll down, it gives you an idea of where the biggest opportunities are to optimize. And here it's telling me to use browser caching. That means that if the page loads once and I load it again on the same browser, then it won't go all the way back to the server to get the data. It will just use my browser's local memory to load up the data. So it's kind of gone in and given me an idea of what things on the website it should be caching. So again, this is more for a developer or someone else to kind of have a look at. You can click here to get an insight from Google developers. But the key thing here is if you want to get the absolute best out of your landing page, use a tool like this, involve a developer or someone who's more technical, and get a sense for where you can optimize here. Again, here it just gives you a few ideas of what else is going on. I have 10 connection errors. I have no idea what that means and what that is, but I assume it's obviously bad. There's then some breakdown of different assets that are loading within there, what kind of content's being pulled, URLs, etc., domains. So again, this is kind of a lot more technical than I'm able to share data with you, but again, the Facebook auction and the user experience come down massively on landing page experience and also bounce rate as well. So do think about how you can squeeze the best performance out. And, you know, this just gives you an idea of this particular page is taking about 4.1 seconds to load. Where is all that load data coming from? Here, for example, this image is taking 2 seconds for that image to be sent to the browser, which is obviously a bit of a delay, but it's not delaying the whole page. And you can see there's a ton of stuff going on here. To be honest, the page is a long form page. It's a typical kind of sales letter page. And so, you know, part of the optimization could be to make the page shorter, to play around with what's technically called lazy loading. So you only load assets once people have scrolled down a page. With this one, it's loading everything into that long page. And so it's just something to bear in mind as you're trying to squeeze performance out of your Facebook ads, to be squeezing as much value out of your landing page as possible, which will help your user value in the auction to get cheaper prices and more delivery as well.